that increase membership to serve. Thank you.
President, greet you. Chairman, membership committee, looking like someone who just arrived from somewhere. Vice President, incoming President.
Thank you.
Lecture was superb. Then, Prof, you saw the teacher in him. Not some people who move around and say they are professors. And when they are speaking, you begin to wonder whether they are truly professors. But this is really a professor. I wanted to say something, but I tried to be careful. You know, these politicians these days, kind of grammar they speak. Because we read them every time. Some of us are beginning to even speak like politicians. Like one of them who wanted to say painstaking efforts, say painful efforts. I thought that Prof has exerted painstaking efforts. We have to beg him to come and become a member, go through fast track program, because he has done quite a lot for institutes. I say to every person, everyone who cares to listen, that our exams are here on today. We have integrity of the exams. It's attributable to Prof. The other Prof, who's an older member, for Institute of Sado. I keep thanking them each time I see them. I'll be brief, talking about membership. Some time ago, I was at Heathrow, I was to come back to Nigeria. A young lady came to me and said, my past president. Didn't really know her. But once she said my past, I've only been president of an institute, and this is the only one. The others on council, the president of Village Union. But I believe that she wasn't talking about. So I just said, oh, how are you? She said, fine. The channel secretary. Was very bold. So that's great. When did you join us? She told me, I said, okay, I was president 2005, 2007. Then she said, oh, I was on my 6th then. But that statement she made led me to think about. So someone who was in primary 6 when I was president is now a member, same level with me. Just simply means that the young child grow. So when we talk about membership, we should be talking about the fact that we have benefits that we can derive from membership. I know for sure there are very many members who don't interact, they don't involve. Then I'm surprised that we have this small number at the summit members. Online, yeah, but physically. Because we have a lot. If you don't network, let me tell you one of the things that will happen is you meet someone that you believe can add value for your life. You hear that this person is a charter secretary. And you say to that person, I'm a charter secretary. Because the person doesn't know you, the person doesn't necessarily have to know you well. But you just have to show presence for the person to say, I think I know this face. I'm a charter secretary. Say, oh, really? Oh, that's good. Works good. But if you have been around, I think I know this face. So what do? Right? And then you start having a discussion. Or see me in my office. There are many charter secretaries that I've been telling them, when you prospect and they say, do you do body evaluation, do you do government evaluation, even though you don't have, tell them yes. Go to the older ones who need you to do the project. Once you do one, be able to understand how to do it. So there are many things that you gain from networking. Attend institute events, and then walk up to people. Apart from the part of employment actually you can, if someone can say, oh, I know this person. You need someone here and send someone to you. And then federal government last week inaugurated technical working group to develop corporate governance code for the public sector. We're just 8 of us. 8 of us established by the federal government, and 2 of us are chartered secretaries. And one of us is the secretary to that committee. She's even here. She's a comfort. So it means that our institute is well recognized, just for us to ensure that we do the right thing at all times. And then reputation. You will have the reputation will go with you. The reputation of the institute will definitely go with you. Now, what are the benefits? You ask yourself the question. I know 2 of the benefits that I can derive from the institute. And Mr. President, what other benefits can I derive from this? Or registrar, what other benefits? They will tell you there are many benefits that some don't know. But you should be bold enough to ask what benefits can I derive. I think build your career, have confidence. I keep saying this, I've said it several times. When I was president, when I was vice president, you know, we were quarreling with London, ITSA. ITSA communized us, as far as we were concerned. We decided to have an act for 19, and for that reason, we're no longer serving that. We're communizing us, even when we wrote letters, we're not responding to emails and letters. So I said to the president that, Mr. Plaque, let's go to that London, let's go and see them. So he said it wasn't going. And then I led the team. Akim Oguniro was there, Tunde Busari was there. Akim and I have discussed, let's have slides. Let's go there. But they think we didn't know anything. So when we got there, the registrar came out, said, you're welcome, sit down, we sat down. Then we said, let's start the meeting. He wanted to have the meeting, 3 of us, they himself, the registrar. We said, no, one of our own members of the team. And he went in and called 2 other persons. And we said, look, you have a projector. I was like, what is all about? We'll have a presentation today. So reluctantly, he brought a projector. Sacking and fire up. By the time I did 5 minutes, the man said, hold on. He went in to ask someone to start very soon, for them to present to us. Why am I saying this? Today is not here. Today was with us. So these people who used to think that we were nobody, they have rented hotel rooms, for us to take us and say, where is it? We start to take with them. These were people who are not responding to our bills. So it's about making sure that you do the right thing. Protect your institute. Protect your institute. Say it anywhere. And I've gone to very good universities, the best university in this country, even though the registrar was happy with me. University of Ibadan. That's where I attended. Also attended universities abroad, very good universities. But this is the one meaning my food. So let's protect our institute. Let's protect our membership. And part of it is dressing well. I asked you to go and see MD of a company, you walk in. They're expecting you. Then you walk in. He looks up and says, yes, can I help you? Because he thinks that you are not the one who's coming, because you are not dressed well. You are not carried yourself very well. You are not bold. Be bold to say, I'm a charter secretary, I'm here to do this. So I encourage us, I think Mr. President invites the chairman of the membership committee for bringing this back. Had this membership been made many years ago, after some time we stopped, but I think that we need to continue to do it, Mr. President. And I think that we should please talk to other members so that when next we're having this summit, we'll not be here. It's possible, we'll have it on the portfolio. But I believe that if we can talk to other members, and the advice I'll give, the advice that I'll give the registrar and her team, the way you structure this summit will determine how many people will be interested. If you structure it as we used to do it, company secretaries and registrars forum. For instance, one of my former students, who is now a lecturer in the university, he invited me and said, please come and talk to us about it. He's teaching something close to corporate governance. So he said, where's your paper? I said, I don't have the paper. You should start asking me questions. And from their questions, I'll be talking. By the time I do 2 hours, I say, no, we can't go to 2 hours. I say, well, you know that when I do 2 hours, they will still want more. They started asking questions. When I was through, they said, come and teach the university. I said, I don't have time for that now. I'm doing my consultancy. I'm very happy with consultancy that I'm doing. What am I trying to say? Structure this program in a way that people will keep thinking, is it tomorrow? Is it next week? Because they are coming to listen to people. By the time you have maybe 15 persons who have done 30 years in this profession, give them 10 minutes to speak. Give people the opportunity, members the opportunity to ask questions. Don't worry about 2 hours. Just say today is summit. Do it on a Saturday. Let people have the time to come. Once they see that value, people will look forward to it. The session that we have this morning that you said I won't be able to make it. How many people joined it? 79. Each of us had just 20 minutes to talk. People were excited. So I think our institute should lead in this regard. And where we think other people will want to join us. So I encourage you, I thank those of you who are here. I thank the president, guys. I thank all those who have spoken.
Thank you very much, Pastor President. Please let's put our hands again for our. Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful inspiration. And so at this point, it's time for us to take questions. So if you have questions, please let's make it brief, very, very brief, straight to the point, no preambles, just straight to the point, and so that we can take. Okay, the honorary treasurer. Online questions. Okay, we have to. Okay. Yes, questions, observations, comments. So we'll just start off. Okay. So let me start from ladies first. Okay.
Thank you very much. I want to start all protocols of I just want to start with the way the program is structured. This is our membership program, and already we are being that we can't just have 2 minutes, can't talk, just ask a question. I'm thinking that my impression when we called for this topic was that we're going to come out, have a robust discussion, and come out with some specific. And if we're going to go in this manner, we won't achieve what I got, except I'm wrong. If you look at the speaker's presentation, they had coherent things they have raised. And I think we need time thoroughly discuss them. Also for the way forward. So, except we want to have another forum, will take discuss the outcome of this session. That said, I want to say thank you to our speakers. Thank you so much. This was a robust session, an eye opener. Here in while what Dr. was we said several things that actually caught me and caught my attention. So one of the questions that the relevance of ICSAN in the corporate governance arena. One of the challenges that I see, like when Dr. Adoju talked about secretaries to the Plaque, secretaries to state government, secretaries to political parties. One of the things that came to my mind was that as much as we want to push, and we may want to push, would these people really want, would they really want us? The political parties, the APC, Accord, the political parties as they are set up, do you really think they want professionals to come in as a secretary? Is it something that we as an institute can actually take ownership of in such areas where we probably will face resistance? That doesn't mean we shouldn't try, but it was just an observation. And in the area of value added, the Vice President already said that there are so many values, and it's obviously so. But I wonder why we keep getting the same question. What is it for me? So maybe that tells me that there's a disconnect between what we have and communication with our members. So we may want to also look not just having our members ask us what is the value added, but having that value obvious. The Prof. Olawale said that if he shows his card to guilty, he knows how to receive it. And that also brought to me that we have cards, for instance, 1 or 2 cards. So somebody this morning asked, what am I even doing with this card? I have a driver's license, I have other ID cards. Why do I need the ICSAN card? So there's a disconnect. We have a card, we have value that we can add. People don't know about it. What are we doing? So it's one of the things. Thank you very much.
Okay, so please, the questions coming up will be directed to Dr. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Olupe Bishomo. I'm the chairman of the Lagos State Chapter ICSAN. I want to stand on the existing protocol, and I want to thank all speakers. They have really done justice very well in this summit. Mine is not a question, but from all that was discussed, especially from Dr. Adeloju and Professor Lariwaju, I just want to say that value was talked about. In most cases, people think of money when it comes to value. But I just want to say that we look into other areas. For instance, now, Professor Lariwaju said something about Dr. Nosike, and I will say this, that is one of the, not only the past president, the elders in the institute that are very approachable. It's not, a lot of people have said so much about him when they go to him. And I want to say that with all due respect and humility, our past presidents, our elders in the institute, are they approachable like that? We really need to take that on board to encourage more people to come. And other areas we need to look into in terms of giving value. I think the institute will have to people together and think from all what we have done today, what are those things that we can bring out and we begin to put them into action. Thank you.
Calling all, standing on the already established protocols. Olufemi Mosapi Johnson is my name. I want to ask, first of all, the 200,000 members that Prof. and Dr. Adiloju mentioned, I want to know that institute. Then, of course, I want to ask also, rather than water down the institute, bringing every Tom, Dick, and Harry, can't we have some sort of plans, writing skill in-house? Can't we have some sort of sponsorship, both global and within the country, donor agency funds? Can't we have some sort of awards, corporate sponsorship that can basically help the aiming of the institute rather than trying to sustain the institute, bringing so much into the institute, just anybody can come and so on. Then finally, the issue of mentoring, I think it's very, very critical. You don't have mentor, you will tormented. So you need to look at the issue of mentoring in this. Those that have gone, those that have had a lot of experience, you have a way to cascade it. Success without successor is suicide. So we have to look at that. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benedicta Shadari. I want to stand on it. Dr. Adiloju talked about that. Also, Professor Larry Wadden, value addition. If you look at the government sector, for instance, I know of two chartered secretaries that have tried, great value to some governmental, in the government. They actually went there to add value to those states, different states. And they didn't come out with a good report or good experience. They never wanted those values that they wanted to bring in come to light. So how do you, as a professional, you want to really add value in government parastatals or government organizations, and you meet with brick wall? How are you going to combat those opposition? Because there are so many of them. I really want to thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the council. I think the first question last question, a bit about value addition, are questions that we have to agree on as memberships of the council as to what it will mean, And I think that's what you call a proposition. Right? Now, the proposition has to be made and then has to be understood. What I hear from the former president is there are some propositions and benefits that are not understood. They are there, but they are not understood. I think it's important that the exam grant has consistency. In other words, if it's a proposition and it's a benefit, you must do the work to make sure everybody understands how to tap the benefit. I think that's important. You will meet resistance everywhere, my sister. Everywhere. If you are going to rise in corporate, political, business, organizations in Nigeria, you will soon run into, you have not, you will run into resistance at some point, right? And that's part of leadership. Our country, the politically led institutions are unique in that some of those resistances have an ethical or an unethical undertone, depending on how you look at it. Some of our governance spaces are vested in moral hazard. Makes our work complicated, sometimes almost impossible. And I won't be one to sit down here to tell you that that's an easy ride. Illicit financial flows out of Nigeria year on year over the last 7 years, up to 2019, average of $3.8 billion. And transnational corporation IFFs are as high as $4.5 billion. So I'm not here again saying that we're working in environments that are perfect and what we tested. That's not what it's about. Our profession as governance experts is heavily tested and tried at the very times we live in. Everything you see on the street today, from the PVC scarcity to water scarcity to money scarcity, are all vested. Those issues to worry about. Many of will point to points of misgovernance. So we are challenged, but we are not going to give up simply because the environment is tough. When the going gets tough, the top gets good. Okay? So that's their approach we must bring to our work, I think. My brother, you asked a question about watering down. Not a watering down, it's a value proposition. If you're going to do high volume, in terms of numbers, you automatically are dealing with the reality that this high volume cannot simply provide your economic base, because it takes a lot of low-paying members to run an efficient institution. That's one model. Another model is you have high-value members, low volume. It's almost exclusive. Okay? There are few members, but they can carry their weights. I mean, there are membership organizations in the world, 200 people, but their balance sheet is $3 billion. Right. If that's the type you want, it's a model, but that model has its reasons for being exclusive, right? For being exclusive. Then you have a mixed model. The principle is not the economic model. The principle is you first pick kind of community of practice you want to be. What are your domains? What kind of community you want to run, and what are the common interests? What are the practices you want to hold to world-class standards? The ethics are supported. Once you've agreed about that, the model will now evolve. It's likely the trade-off. I like the idea of grants. Now, in the membership economy, what we call that is your external economy. What we're trying to discuss in this summit is only your membership economy, which is your internal economy. You must run your external economy. Your external economy is all the other types of money that can come in, not based on your membership. Grants, donors, impact investments, waivers of different types that can come to membership bodies, outright investments, outright private sector partnerships. One can build you a university and say, look, I'll run your curriculum and make money from it. I mean, your external economy can be 20 times the size of your membership economy. In fact, MESG, I think already, our external economy is several times the size of our membership economy. That's corporate versus individual put together. So I didn't mean watered down. I hope that's what I conveyed. I like the idea of making sure the elders are brought along. But remember, when you're bringing the elders along, there's a cost of moving the elders. And you move them carefully. Have a lot of elders in their own membership economy. Don't move them anyhow. You have to plan to move them. When you move them, you have to plan not to stress them. Then you have to ask, what is the optimal use at their age, or their time, their experience? We use them for advisory. We also use them for experience, use them for nudging and influence. So we don't move them a lot. When we move them, it's decisive. The other thing is that they were very useful. I'm the historian of the Nigerian economics. When I came in, a lot of our history was in the heads of founding fathers. So we created the Founding Fathers Project. Everything in their heads, everything in their head, and put it down, converted it into videos, case studies, because we knew we knew many of them will pass on, a generation will emerge that does not know the story. And so, luckily, we got a couple of them down on video. We have video case studies, how they did it, how they thrived. Young people watch now, because now they're dying. Shulekon is now late in blessed memory. Baba Judah is now late in blessed memory. The Krema is now late in blessed memory. But we can now look back and see that the Founding Fathers Project allowed us to bequeath to a younger generation knowledge. So there's what you can do with elders that can be of lasting value as you go on. I think the question about brand and identity, I bring out my card. It's a branding matter. I said to the council, we need to position the credentials. You know, ACCA went through an extensive global campaign to brand their credential. Okay? They worked on it. It didn't just happen. They put some marketing into creating that, making sure that credential had a global image. That's something to think about. But ultimately, the best branding is the branding that happens because the members are the brand ambassadors. Okay, nothing beats that. Now, in terms of question of domains, don't stretch the domain too much. Let's stay focused. It's a choice. Governance as an area, chartered secretaries and administrators as a profession. Like I pointed, there's an expansion, there's a logical expansion pathway to that. It's not very big, but it's there. The question is it worth it? Members have to decide. But the point, I also raised the question, are there roles and functions in society and across sectors that are playing a credible role? The chartered secretary and administrator, but simply they cannot make the connection between their role and credentialing. That connection helps. I also don't think that is a watering down. I think that's a clear brand value position versus credentialing of a body of practice that belongs to your field, but is not called that. Okay? So these are the things that I will say. Some of these things require deeper interrogation. You know, a proper looking at the curriculum, the competency framework required. You know, because we make them as passing statements does not mean the pathway to them will be careless or frivolous. I don't think that's what I have hoped to convey in any shape or form. I honestly believe that some of the cadres of professions appointed to will benefit. I honestly believe they will benefit from being members, from being trained the chartered secretaries and administrators. And I honestly believe that many of these roles and functions will serve the institutions better if those in these roles are trained. Will they be trained? Will there be a desire to do it? Will it appeal to them? It's a question of value proposition, branding, marketing. But like I said, first word I gave this morning was it has to be demand-led. We can't do something for which there's no demand. We waste that time. I think there is a high demand, okay, at least from citizens and the market, for better governance of our public and private institutions. I think that's what makes it relevant in this generation, in many generations.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Please let's put our hands together for him once again. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Doctor came in from Abuja this morning, so he has a flight to catch. So, therefore, I want to pray the indulgence that we make a presentation to him, and then we'll continue the question. And to do that, I call on the FCIS to make a little presentation to Doctor. His name. Because, thank you.
Dr. Tayo Adeluju, on behalf of the entire members of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries of Nigeria, thank you. I invited you, and you have done a fantastic job. I remember that the last time we gave you a standing ovation, I was speaking to us. And you continue to inspire us, to make us think forward of how to make our institute good. Until like Oliver Twist, we will still call you again. And you will still answer us. And so on behalf of President, Chairman of Council, and my entire colleagues, I want to say thank you very much to you. Protect the institute.